Hey guys, so more and more people are building Essence Reaver on champions like Tristana and kog'maw, even Draven sometimes, and it's pretty weird. So we're going to catch you up to speed and explain it all in under 4 minutes. Now, if you try this out at all, you should give the Mobalytics post-game thing a quick look after you do. You'll be able to see how well you did in comparison to your normal build. You know, I'm a big fan of the site, honestly. It might just help you see the difference in damage and stuff if that makes sense. So first off, this is not that popular right now, but we've seen it in the LCS a little bit, a bit more in solo queue. It can be really good, but it can also suck in my opinion. So I am not saying we should use it every single game. Now, Essence Reaver is a staple on some champions who rely on cooldowns a lot and maybe have some mana issues, but not so much. The main things are it's a crit item, but it has a lot of AD on it. So it means your abilities do more damage, and we have cooldown reduction, which means we can use those abilities more. That is partly why Sivir and Xayah, for example, get it almost every single game. They have good ability damage and they rely on them for their damage, not just their auto attacks. There is another thing to it though that most people don't think about. It's about getting that cooldown reduction for their auto attack steroid. These steroids are things that buff our auto damage, which make our late game disgustingly good. So Twitch has attack speed on his Q, Tristana on her Q, Xayah's W, Sivir's W, kog'maw's W. This is actually a massively underrated reason why Sivir and Xayah still get the item. Sivir has a W up a lot more in late game team fights, which means more bounces, and it also gives attack speed. It adds a lot to your damage without you really realizing it, if that makes sense. These steroids are always longer cooldown, so it's about using it at the right time, and often our damage is going to drop a lot when we don't have it active. Essence Reaver gives us our steroid a lot more in a fight. It's going to buff our damage that way. That is why people are using it a bit more now. There is obviously an opportunity cost, which is the cost of getting Essence Reaver instead of another item. This is a really big thing. Is Essence Reaver good every game? Definitely not. No way, not at all. The cost of getting it can be pretty big, and in some games can hurt your damage a lot actually. Essence Reaver is really good against tanks mostly. Tristana's Q has a 7-second uptime. That is more than enough time to kill someone squishy like an Orianna, for example. Plus, having your Shiv burst will hit them really hard as well. Against a massive tank, Shiv does not really do that much damage. Your Q being up more will help you shred that guy more, if that makes sense. Now, Tristana, kog'maw, and Draven are the ones that I've seen use this more. They're kind of the reasons I made the video. So here's the difference with them. With Tristana, her Q is 110% attack speed. It's on a 16-second cooldown normally with 7-second uptime, and so you have to wait 9 seconds afterwards to use it again. If we get a Essence Reaver of 3 items, it would go down to an 11.2 second cooldown, 7 uptime, and you'd have to wait 4.2 seconds after that to use it again. So over a 30-second fight, I'll show you on screen, but basically it's 21 seconds of uptime with an Essence Reaver versus 14 seconds of uptime without one. You can really see that if a fight lasts past 30 seconds, having an Essence Reaver instead of another attack speed item is actually pretty sick. If the fight doesn't last 30 seconds, if it only lasts 20, right, then you don't really see much of a difference in uptime, so you're losing out on the extra damage. Like kog'maw gets the Essence Reaver instead of a Blade Throwing King, right? That's a pretty high price to pay, but over a longer fight, having his W more will be more damage. For Draven, you're not getting your Bloodthirster first, which means your lifesteal and dueling will suffer. You won't be as safe, but you will do a lot more damage. If you drop your axes as well, it doesn't really matter. So that one is more like a trade-off. If you can stay alive, it will be worth it. For Tristana, you'd actually lose 10% crit strike and more Shiv healing procs with no rapid fire cannon, but you'll be hitting that tank for more damage over a longer fight. It really comes down to like how long these fights in game are actually. Like, it's not something you build every game. It wouldn't make sense at all. It makes sense against this Stoneplay, Locket, and Heal Warmog's meta where tanks survive forever. It's not as trash as it seems, but you've got to use it in the right way, in the right situation, in my opinion. That should explain why people are getting Essence Reaver. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know what you think, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.